He tilts his head back slightly in a haughty gesture. Our headquarters has been evacuated. Caro gave us our position away after his capture, before we could get to him. Icy fear trickles down my spine. They're going to blame me for this. I know it. The knowledge floods over me like the feeling of resigned dread. How dare you feel resigned to it? He doesn't stop looking, smiling a sick, perverse smile. You look a little frightened, my blood. He chuckles. I can't say I blame you. I have been ordered to punish you for your part in this unfortunate event, and as you know, I am only too pleased to carry out my orders. Why? I ask, my lungs empty and airless. I thought I was telling you the truth. Harry must have been where I said he was at the time. Quill said I wasn't lying. That's neither here nor there, he replies smoothly. It was your information that led us here. Whether you thought you were telling the truth or not. He runs his eyes over me distastefully. And now I'm stuck out here, in the back end of nowhere, in this run-down old place, with only you for company. Isn't anyone else coming? My voice is suddenly higher pitched than usual, much to my annoyance. He smiles at my discomfort, a sick, self-satisfying smile. He knows the power of fear he has over me. Oh yes, Bella and Antonin will arrive here soon with your little friend. We won't be left alone together for long. He raises his eyebrows smugly. Sorry to disappoint you. I take a deep breath. When are they going to get here? I ask. His face creases into a tiny frown. Soon, he says carefully, his voice very quiet. Let that be enough for you. Your morbid curiosity will get you into trouble one day. If you don't watch to control it, if you don't learn to control it. Breathe, Hermione, he doesn't know. Not yet. I reach into my pocket to feel the blade, now warm due to the amount of time I've been holding it. I slip it against my fingers. I don't know why you're so eager for the boy to arrive. A small smile flickers across his face, as if he's genuinely amused by something. Mind you, he's almost unending stupidity. Does make you look almost intelligent by comparison. Perhaps that's the reason for you wanting him with you? Ron's not stupid, I snap, and neither am I. He is stupid. He replies. Well, you've got some basic intelligence, I grant you, but nothing beyond the normal level for a muggle. His words sting me into a response. I've been told that I'm the best in my year at school. Oh, you're so proud of that, aren't you? Draco has told me time and time again about your incessant hand-raising in class. Do you enjoy showing off your intelligence, thereby inadvertently putting your peers down? No. My cheeks flushed at that one. I put my hand up in class because I know the answer to the question being asked. Lie to yourself if you must, but not to me. He cuts across me again. At least I am honest about my own superiority. You can't even be honest with yourself. I don't answer him. I split my fingertips over the blade of my knife. I slip my fingertips over the blade of the knife. So intelligent, he says quickly, looking me up and down. Ruthless, too, from what I've heard. What are you talking about? He smiles at me again. There's something new in his face, something that could, if I'm not mistaken, be respect. I've heard stories about you over the years, Miss Granger. Unplateable stories. What's he going on about? For example, he continues, I've heard about that poor Edgecombe girl. About how you disfigured her simply because she let the cat out of the bag, considering your little defense against the dark arts group. I suck in my breath. That was a cruel trick. His voice was low, almost seductive. So clever, so cruel. Worthy of a Slytherin, in fact. Have you considered that the Sorting Hat might have put you in the wrong house? No. He smirked slightly. No, you're probably right. The best thing about Slytherin is that they don't let mudbloods in. It's a shame, really. Who knows what you might have become, if not for that one failing. Why is it a failing? It's my turn to cut across him now. I have told you why, he rolls his eyes. You have no right to study magic. No right at all. I inherited my talent from my ancestors. Some of the greatest witches and wizards who have ever walked the earth. You're nothing more than a freak of nature. I bloody am not! Oh, really? He leans forward and puts his hand on my cheek, trailing his fingers into my hair. What else could you call yourself then? I ignore the jumping feeling in my chest, and then I answer him. A witch? Why did I voice that question? Why did I voice that as a question? A witch. He pushes his fingers deep into my hair. I see. I do wonder just how long it will take you to see otherwise. For a moment, there's a look in his eyes. There's a look in his eyes that terrifies me. What is it? He shakes his head slightly, throwing a look out of his eyes, and pulls his hand away from my hair. Where do you think you got your powers from? He asked me quietly. Blood is so very important. Blood is what transfigures power from a wizard to a wizard. Blood is the most important thing in the magical world. I would have thought that one of your supposed intelligence would be aware of that. Blood. I can smell Ron's blood again. I can see it bright before my eyes. I can see his thumb lying on the floor, an inanimate dead object. It turns my stomach over and over again, and I feel sick. Ron's thumb. I cut it off. Lucius watches me, a horrible smirk on his face. You're remembering what you did, aren't you? His voice is heavy with a callous enjoyment. It tears holes in me. You remember how you cut the thumb off of his hand? Every instinct I have tells me to shout at him, to scream out in rage, and to hurt him, to make him bleed and scream. And oh yes, it would feel so good to plunge that knife into him right now. But I don't. I need to keep my temper if I'm going to use this knife to effect. I can't just lash out, or I'll lose control. How could you make me do that? How could you make me do it? My voice is calm and still, like his own. Perhaps I could get through to him if I keep my emotions under control like he does. How can you treat people like that? Because I can. He rolls his eyes at my reply, tired of my attempts to discover any humanity he might possess. Now I think it's time for you to go to bed, little girl. I'm 17. I snap at him. He sneers at me. You wouldn't know it from the way you behave. He makes a grab at my arm. Now, Hermione. I rip the knife out of my pocket and hold it up to his face. I rip the knife out of my pocket and hold it up to his face. I hate that sentence. It's so fucked up. Okay, whatever. His reaction isn't what I expected. I hoped I'd see some real fear. And although fear definitely flickered across his face and makes him draw a breath, it's gone in a second and to be replaced with the smallest of smiles. Oh dear. How foolish can you be? You can be. How foolish you can be. His voice is low and perfectly still. Aren't you scared? I hissed at him, my hand shaking like mad in front of his face, the knife wobbling dangerously. I take a deep breath and try to steady myself. My dear girl, why on earth should I be scared? His smile spreads, widens. I could kill you! And that's supposed to scare me, he says, his voice low with challenge. Do it. I take all my breath in very suddenly. Can I do it? I should do it. I should cut him into 1,000 pieces for everything he's done.